Hey, welcome to Super Social Club. I'm Jeremy, and tonight, the Kavalan 15th Anniversary Oloroso. 15 years old, the oldest Kavalan they've ever bottled, but is it the best Kavalan they've ever bottled? I'll let you know when I nose it, taste it, and give it a mark. Alright, this is a single cask Kavalan coming in at 57.1% ABV. It was barreled 09, 06, 06, so that's 2009, June 6th, and it was bottled in 2024, I believe it's August 5th. So you're looking at 15 years and 2 months old, the oldest bottling they've ever done at Kavalan. If you're unaware, Kavalan bottles their whiskey usually in like their Solist single cask stuff usually comes in at 6 or 7 years old. Obviously, in a tropical climate in Taiwan, the whiskey matures super fast. I was surprised to see that this is actually bottle number 116 out of 223. So the cask actually yielded quite a few bottles at that age. In previous reviews, I've done Kavalan Virgin Oaks where they bottled those at like around 14, 13 years, and you know, there's 85, 90 to like 100 bottles. That's it. That's all the cask yielded from that. So a lot more in this one, which I found kind of quite interesting. I thought we would maybe be getting, you know, under 100 bottles with something like this. Not sure how many total casks they use for the 15th anniversary, but this is just one of the barrelings. Let's see how it is on the nose. Honestly, one of the best sherry casks on the nose I've ever smelled in my entire life. It is everything you want in a super heavily sherried whiskey. Just incredibly bold, incredibly robust. Here are the tasting notes on the nose. It's got everything going on with it. Like, absolutely phenomenal. You could just live in this glass all day, every day. From the red plums, to the grape jellies, to the chocolates, to the oranges, the red velvet cake, the pipe tobacco, a little bit of like shoe polish, but in a good way. Leather, raisins, it's floral, there's spice, the oak, nicely integrated on the nose. A lot of people their first assumption about this whiskey is it's gonna be overly oaked. You're just gonna get oak as a tasting note on the nose, but you're not. You're not at all. It's very well integrated into this. Yeah, it's just perfection. Sherry bomb, absolute perfection on the nose. It is glorious. I could spend an entire video just nosing it, but let's go palate. So, as you would expect, big explosion of flavor on the palate. The red plums really are the dominant note that carries over from the nose. Also the raisin, the red velvet cake, chocolate, the dark cherry is really prominent as well. Grape soda, a little bit of coffee, espresso in there. And as you expect, lots of cask influence in this one. It is very rich, super bold. It is an absolute glorious sherry bomb whiskey. Oak influence on the palate. It is there, of course it's there. It's not overpowering. It doesn't go to the very top of the list of tasting notes. Oak is very well integrated again with this. I would say on the palate, lots of cask influence. I think the complexity I get on the nose doesn't transfer to the palate quite as much as I was hoping for. I feel like you get lots of huge, bold notes, like I said, but the complexity and the intricacies that I was getting on the nose aren't quite there on the palate. The cask influence kind of goes right to the top, and I feel like the intricacies aren't quite there. The complexity isn't quite there. I mean, it is rich. It is super rich. And when you're in the mood for a heavy sherry bomb, this is up there with some of the best stuff I've ever had. It does remind me almost like it's those really good old Kavalan sherry casks from 2006. In 2006, I think it was the first year of distilling for them. In the 2006 distillate year, they released a bunch of bottles. Probably it was in 2012 or so, and those won a lot of awards. Those came out and those were our top priority on the secondary market. You can even go back right now and take a look and see that those 06 sherry Kavalans go for a lot of money because those were a great as soon as I cracked this and nosed it and tasted it, I'm like, this is an '06 sherry cask. Of course, it's an '09, but tasted just like it, just the exact same almost. I think for me on this one, I mean, when you nose it, you're like, this is gonna be the best sherry whiskey I've ever had in my life. It gets there on the palate, but it doesn't equal the nose. And I think that's where, if there's any disappointment in this whiskey, that's where it lies, I think, to me. When I first cracked it, the nose is still just as good. The palate, there was this kind of astringent kind of note. I wouldn't say it was the oak, it was something else. It was hard to describe. That has since subsided. This bottle has been open for maybe like 3 weeks now, and that note is dissipating. I kind of wanted to do this review right away, but I was like, I'll let this bottle open up just a little bit, because I feel like every heavily sherried whiskey needs a little bit of time in the bottle to open up, and that note that I was getting, that astringency, has gone down, and it is drinking really, really, really nice on the palate right now. Let's go for one more sip. Yeah, the dates, the prunes, the figs, huge. Plums, huge. Just bursting with flavor. I guess maybe what I was hoping for was a little more like kind of elegance, I guess, to it. I mean, this is a rich, bold whiskey, but I figured that this is their oldest stuff. Maybe you would get some more refinement on the finish. But this is just straight up huge sherry, crazy, bold bomb of a whiskey. Score-wise for me, this is a tough one, because I figure like on the nose, I'm honestly getting like the best sherried whiskey I've ever nosed in my life. What would that score be? I feel like on the nose, I'm like huge score. Like some of the highest scores I've ever given, it's got to be like around a 94, 95 on the nose, which is wild. But the palate doesn't quite live up to the nose. And of course, taste is king. I would rate the palate experience and the finish way more than I would rate the nose. So I think total for me, I'm going to score this a 91 out of 100. Now, let's talk price. Price on this thing retails in Canada for around 700 Canadian dollars. I'm part of a Kavalan group. We get a discount, so I paid a little bit less than that. I think for $700, like what you're getting here is a really nice, cool bottle. It comes with a really cool stopper, super heavy stopper, which is kind of nice. The packaging, I mean, it is what it is. It's kind of cool, I guess, if like this is you're looking to give someone as a gift. It comes with the glass, comes with the coaster. But at the end of the day, it's like, I'm not going to keep this packaging. Obviously, I'll keep the coaster and the glass, which are nice. But I don't keep packaging. I don't have room for it. It just ends up going thrown out. It's an extra cost that I pay for bottles like this that I don't really see. If you're giving this a gift, it's a perfect gift. Although on the inside, like it's kind of cheap. Like the clasp that holds the bottle in is broken. You know, some piece of the plastic has fallen out. You know, this stuff is kind of just cheap. It looks nice, but it isn't nice. I think if you look back on some of the nice Kavalan packaging, those piano boxes that came out with some of those sherry soulless, like the PX and that series had those really nice piano boxes. Those are really nice. Those were nicer than this. And I understand why the price is what it is. You're getting Kavalan's oldest expression. 15 years in Taiwan, I mean, people would probably estimate that as being, you know, 30-year-old Scotch. Maturation there obviously happens way quicker. So the equivalency, it's hard to kind of judge, but 15-year-old something in Taiwan is equivalent to way older other places. So I get why the price is that high. But if I was drinking this completely blind, what would I assign a value to it? It wouldn't be $700. I think that's where I gotta judge my value when I add or subtract prices for value. Like, what would I say this is worth if I just drink it completely blind? Is it better than any Kavalan I've ever had? I don't know. It's like it's up there at the very, very top, but I've had some really nice PX casks that I would probably say are just as good as this. I've had some really nice Pheno Kavalans that are really, really good. Like I said, that '06 sherry is just as good as this. Now you can find '06 sherries on auction. Here's the price, almost the same, if not a little bit less. So I gotta come down on value. I gotta at least take a mark off for value. Bring this thing down to an even 90. I think that's a fair score for this. Was I expecting to score this higher? Yeah, I think I was expecting this thing to be the 92, the 93s, like really up there as being some of the best Kavalans I've ever had, ever scored. I'm happy with the purchase. I think it's a great whiskey. I was expecting a little more on the palate, a little more refinement, a little more complexity, a little more wow factor. What I'm getting is super, super bold, heavy sherry, which is great. I love that. But I was expecting a little more elegance, a little more refinement, a little more complexity. But my goodness, this nose is unreal. Unreal good. How does it compare to like a regular Oloroso Solist? Well, got one here. This one is a bottling by Team Truth Malters. This one is from, it's a 2017 vintage cask, and it was bottled in 2022. So we're looking at 5 years old. How does it compare? I mean, it's nowhere close. The nose is the huge difference. The nose on this one is nice, but you're not getting half the complexity of the nose on this. The plum note is just, this is like biting in to like the most perfect red plum. This one is like biting into like an underripe plum, I would say. Not getting like that dark cherry velvet cake note that the 15th anniversary has. This one's got some nice fig, raisiny kind of thing going on with it, but it's way more basic. It's way more basic than the 15th. I mean, it's a third of the age, but I think it was pretty much almost a third of the price as well. Let me know in the comments down below, what's your thought on Kavalan Solist products, the Oloroso. If you tried some other ones, let me know. If you have tried the 15th anniversary, let me know in the comments down below. What do you think of it? Do you agree or disagree with what I've said? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Really much appreciated. Have a good one. Cheers.